Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am your frustrated Atma, Anvishna. Sit back and listen to another rant of mine. The fear of failure. Have you ever noticed sometimes that you don't actually fail because you don't actually start? You keep thinking, what if I can't do it? What if I embarrass myself? What if people laugh? What if I give everything I have and I still don't succeed? Slowly, without even realizing, you start calling it practical. I'll do it later. I'll need little more time to prepare. I need to prepare more for it. Maybe this isn't the right time. But somewhere inside, you know the truth. You're scared, not of the work. You're scared of failure, what that failure might say about you. Imagine that fear of failure is so harsh on a person that most of us don't even start about doing any work because somehow we have learned to make failure personal. If we fail an exam, we think maybe we are not intelligent enough. If business doesn't work out, maybe I'm not capable. If relationship doesn't work, maybe I'm not lovable. If something we created doesn't get appreciated, maybe it's not good enough. One failure becomes a statement about our entire identity, and that's where the real problem perhaps begins, because fear of failure is supposed to tell you this didn't work, but we make it say I did not work. And there's a huge difference between the two sentences. Maybe that's why we are so afraid of failing. Because we are not just afraid of losing, we are afraid of being seen losing, we are afraid of judgment, we are afraid what someone will say, and we are afraid that people will tell you, I told you so, don't do it. We are afraid people will compare us. We are afraid that even after trying hard, everybody will finally see what we are secretly trying to hide from ourselves. Maybe we are not enough, so we protect ourselves. We don't apply, we don't start, we don't post the video, we don't take the exam, we don't ask the question, we don't launch the idea, we don't walk the room. Then we tell ourselves, maybe I didn't really want it anyway. Sometimes we wanted it desperately. We are just so scared of failure that we don't even try. And that's the painful thing to admit, because avoiding failure feels safe for a while. But there is something nobody tells you about avoiding failure. You also avoid the possibility of success. You never know what could have happened. And years later, question isn't always about why did I fail? But sometimes the question is about what if I would have just happened to try it once? I should have tried it once. एक बार कोशिश करके देख लेती. I think that's the scarier question, and it's a much scarier question, to be honest, because failure gives you information, regret gives you imagination. Failure always says, this didn't work out, try something. I repeat, this didn't work, try something new. Regret says, maybe I could have done it and it would have worked. You can live a life with a failed attempt, but living with a lifetime of what if, that is different. So maybe the goal isn't to become fearless. Maybe that's impossible. Maybe the goal is to become someone who can say, I am scared, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Not because you know you'll succeed, because you understand that your worth doesn't depend on the outcome. You can fail an exam and still be intelligent. You can fail a business and still be capable. You can make terrible video and still be a creator. You can make a wrong decision and still be a person who's learning. A failed attempt is an event, not an identity. Maybe we need to stop asking ourselves, what if I fail, and start asking, what if I don't even try? Because sometimes your biggest failure isn't failing. It's standing at the edge of life and thinking about taking the first step. So if there is something that you've been postponing because you're afraid you won't be good enough, maybe you don't need the confidence today. Maybe you just need one small attempt, one application, one conversation, one page, one video, one question, one beginning. You don't have to know how the story ends. You just have to be brave enough to start the next line. And if you fail, you'll figure it out, because that's what you're supposed to do. Try, fail, learn, try again. That's not failure, that's being alive. And this is Anveshana, your frustrated Atma. And maybe today we stop asking what if I fail and finally ask what if I succeed. See you in another episode. Thank you so much for supporting this new kind of concept wherein people vent their frustration online and not on people. Thank you for watching. Have a nice weekend.